Hey friends, welcome back to LlamaMamaKayla's Yarn Tube. Today I thought I would share with you that I'm making slipper socks for myself. I love these socks. I made some last year and I wore them and wore them and wore them. I took them to the hospital with me. At one point a doctor even said, this man doctor, he said, "Where'd you get those cool socks?" And I was like, "I made them." He's like, "You made those?" And I was like, "Yes." So anyway, I love these socks, and I'm still wearing the ones that I, made last year. I have a pair of them on right now, but I wanted to make myself some new ones, and I'm having a little trouble with my feet, and so I do want to keep them warm, and so I thought, well, I'll just make myself up a few more pair of these. And so that's what I'm doing. I made this one, and I'm going to make the next one with you, so I have a pair. Okay, so I know this looks like a skinny foot and leg, but these socks stretch. These fit me, and my feet swell, my legs swell. These are perfect for me. Now, over time, like if you wear them 2 or 3 days, okay, for me, my feet never touch the floor. My feet do not touch the floor no matter where I'm at. When I get out of the bed, my feet go straight into my house shoes. And when I get in the bed, my feet go from in the house shoes to in the bed. When I change clothes, my feet go from the house shoes into my pants leg and back into the house shoe. I'm serious, my feet do not touch the floor. And so my socks do not touch the floor. They only go inside my house shoe. And so I can wear these 2 or 3 days, actually, especially if I'm just around the house and don't leave and don't go anywhere. If I go somewhere, when I take them off, they get thrown in the dirty clothes. But if I'm just at home, I can wear these 2 or 3 days. Now, over the course of the 2 or 3 days, they will stretch out, and get out of whack. But you just throw them in the wash, dryer, and they shrink back down. They might not shrink back down this skinny, but they shrink back down for, a fresh pair of socks when you put them back on. So you do want to make these out of something that is, you can just throw in the wash and not have to worry about it. For me, I love this yarn, and you can tell that I've had this yarn a little while because these are no longer $3.99. But I love this yarn in Raspberry Surprise. This is a 4-weight yarn, and I am using a 5.5 hook. The reason I'm using this hook is because that's the hook I used last year when I made these. And the reason why I probably used it last year is probably because that's what was on my desk when I started to make them. So I have no other explanation than that. It's probably just the hook that I picked up to make them. So if you do want to make these smaller, you could go down to, a 5. Or if you want to make them bigger, you could go up to a 6. Just play with it. And if you... I personally am going to make these with some bulky yarn, so I may go up to a 6 when I do that yarn. But for this, I'm going to use my 5.5 hook. It's an eye hook, I guess. I'm trying to read it there and can't really. But anyway, so that's what we're going to make today. These are so easy to make. If you have a crochet hook and you have yarn, you can make these. Okay, so we're going to make a slip stitch. Leave a little bit of a tail so you can weave it in at the end. Okay, ever how you're used to making a slip stitch, go right ahead. Okay. And I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to slip back into my very first chain so that it looks like this. I'm going to take my working yarn, And I'm just going to slip this in through both of those loops. So I still have this little circle here. I'm kind of holding it open with my fingers there. So I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 counts as my first double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over for a double crochet. I'm going to go into that center, grab my yarn, pull it through, and now I have 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to pull it through the first 2, and it leaves me with 2. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through the next 2. That is a double crochet. Okay, I need 12 in all. The chain 3 counted as 1, so that was number 2. So that makes number 3. Now I'll do this one slow so you can just see. I yarned over, go through the center, grab my yarn, pull it through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that puts me at 4 double crochets. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now I'm going to go back and count these because sometimes I get to thinking about something else and I miscount and I'll end up with only 11 or 13 or something like that. So I'm just going to pull my loop so I don't lose my stitch there. And I'm going to start right here at my chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is number 12. Okay, so if you're new to crocheting, you might want to put a stitch marker right there. And I'm going to use this cool stitch marker that Classy Kim sent me. I've been using these since she sent them to me, and I love them. So I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 I made. 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just going to slip into that. Let me see if okay. And I'm going to grab my working yarn, pull it through, and then just pull it through right here. That's a slip stitch. So now I'm going to chain 3 for row 2. Okay, in this row we're going to put 2 double crochets in each stitch. So this counts as my first one. So I need to yarn over, go through that same stitch where I chained 3, pull through, and make my double crochet. So that's 2. And then the next stitch, just go in there, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in there. Same thing for all the stitches all the way around. 2 double crochets. And at the end, I'm going to count my stitches because my mind wanders. Do y'all do that? All right, getting close. This yarn feels really good. These are going to be nice slipper socks. When I was making the first pair, I didn't end up with the right number at the end of this, and I had to look back and count them and look at them, and I realized that on one, I didn't do two. On this row, I didn't do two double crochets in the same stitch. At one point, I only did one, so I was short one. I had to rip it out and redo it. Okay, I'm at my last stitch. All right, so that chain one plus these double crochets should equal 24. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yay! Alright, so I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's slip stitch into that. Alright, and that's the end of round 2. So now we're on to round 3. Chain 3. And that counts as my first double crochet. So now I'm going to go to the second stitch, which is right here, and double crochet into that stitch. And then double crochet into each stitch of this round. We're not going to increase anymore. This is going to be it. So that chain 3 plus 23 double crochets equals our 24 crochets for the round. Like I said, these socks are so easy to make that you shouldn't have any problems doing them. And they might start to curl, but you want them to curl that way. So kind of cup them out, go in that direction. Oops. Okay, back around. Okay, so there should be 24 stitches. You can count those and make sure you have 24. This little line right here is not a stitch. That's where we reached over and joined. This is the last stitch. And remember, you can't always use your stitch marker. If you're new to this and need to know where that last stitch is, just use your stitch marker. So this would be the last stitch, and you could just put your stitch marker on there. Stitch markers can be very, very helpful. Then we're going to slip stitch into the third chain of this. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so for every row here on out, that's what we're going to do. Is 1 double crochet in each one. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then double crochet into this first little stitch here. Not the same. Let me see if I can get this to stand up. Don't go right there where you had that chain 3. Go in the next stitch. And just do that all the way around. Now for my sock, I did 24 rows. You might not want your sock that tall, and you might want your sock taller. Try it on as you go and figure out what you want. Just remember, like, part of it's like the foot, so that's the foot. So really only about this much is going to be up on the leg. So they usually come a little bit above my ankle. Not a whole lot, but they do come up above my ankle when I put them on. So remember your foot, and then your leg part, your ankle and heel and leg. So just try them on as you're making them and decide how many rows you want your sock to be. Now when I get my sock to 24 rows, I'll come back and let you know how I'm going to finish the sock off. So I'll be back soon. Okay, so I just have a couple more stitches here of double crochets. Alright, I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my chain 3. Alright, so basically that's the sock, except we're going to put a little border around the very top. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet in each stitch around, and I'm just going to put a stitch marker right there so I'll know that was my first single crochet. So I'm just going to single crochet around the top edge just to give it a little finished look. You don't have to do this. And so I did my socks 24 rows. Keep in mind that you'll want to, adjust yours and do it accordingly for whatever, you want. As you're making the sock, you could try it on and see how high it's coming up. But you'd rather make it long enough instead of too short. I'm so excited to finish this pair. I'm going to put these on tonight after my shower. Alright, now I'm getting to my last stitch, And then I'm going to slip stitch into this first single crochet over here. So I'm just going to slip stitch, grab my yarn, pull it through, and then I just want to leave enough tail that I'll have a little bit of yarn to weave in. Tighten that up, and then I'll just, it's great only having one tail to weave in. That's great. Usually when I finish a project, it's like, oh, now I gotta weave in all these tails. Alright, there we go. And I'm just going to snip that extra yarn off. Excuse me. So here we go. There is my pair of slipper socks. And if you made some, I hope that you enjoy them. They're kind of too long to put on the screen there. If you make some, I hope that you enjoy them as much as I do. And I will be making myself several more pair, just so that I have a variety, you know, of socks. I love the wild colors, the different colors. I have made some in that Red Heart Super Saver retro, and then there's another one, Favorites or something maybe, or I don't know, but anyway, I've made some in those also, and they turn out really neat. You could use striped yarn, you could use a solid yarn, just whatever. Have fun, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching.